Hey y'all, welcome back. So for today's video, I want to talk about Nanana Surprise, which is not something I've said in a very long time on this channel. It feels like it's been so long since I've been even remotely invested in the Nanana Surprise brand, and honestly I didn't think that was going to change. I kind of thought I'd made probably my last videos on Nanana Surprise, but they have a recent release that has come out that I looked at, and frankly I was just shocked by. I feel like this brand has completely lost the plot. I just feel like they're making very strange decisions, and so I have to talk about it, you know? Like, no one asked for this video, but I had so many feelings, so I had to make it, and I have to get it out. So, yeah, I just want to talk about Nanana Surprise as a brand, mostly with their most recent release, but I do have to kind of go a little bit into the history of Nanana to do that. I don't know, it's gonna maybe be kind of a rambly video. I hope it's fun for you guys, though. I hope you enjoy me just, like, ranting about this brand. If you do, if you could give the video a like, super helpful to me. And if you're new here and you enjoy your time, welcome. I'm happy. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more. But yeah, let's go ahead and just get into Nanana Surprise. So like I said, we have to kind of go through the history of Nanana Surprise first so that you can really understand why I'm so confused and like frustrated about this. So I have my little helper here, one of the few Nanana Surprise dolls that I have like left in my collection because I did sell most of them. They did make larger dolls, the teens. We're not going to talk about those, okay? Those aren't important here. The only ones we really need to focus on are these. So like, as you can see, pretty small. She's, you know, I think like 6 inches. I want to say that's how big these are. They're pretty tiny dolls, and they are fabric. I've made reviews ages ago on this channel, but just, you know, we're doing a quick rundown here. So they are like fabric dolls. They're soft. Their eyes are just like printed on. On these small ones, the hats are sewn onto their head. Like the hats and the hair are kind of all interconnected, and if you peel the hat off, because it's either sewn or glued on, she will just be bald under here. And then they obviously have fabric clothing here. They have little removable plastic shoes. They have some like printed on details with like the socks. And as for articulation, they are pretty limited. They have joints at like the hips, but they're these kind of circular joints, so she can't bend her legs forward to do like a seated position. She can just kind of do the splits. And then the arms, very similar. So no knee or wrist or even elbow articulation on these, no ankle articulation. They can turn their heads, but it's pretty limited, and like, it's fabric, so that always made sense to me because they're fabric dolls, so I feel like it would probably be much more difficult to add in articulation versus the plastic variety. So this is like the baseline, okay? This is what I think of when I think of Nanana Surprise. So this brand has been around for a little bit, and recently I honestly thought that they were getting canceled. I thought that they were just done, because for a long time they produced this size of dolls, these little fabric dolls, and it didn't seem like their sales were doing super well. I thought that they were cute a lot of the times, but the thing that always got me was the price, because for this size doll, I don't know if it was always consistent because like inflation changes prices, but this size doll was somewhere in like the $20-ish range, maybe even $25, which is kind of expensive. And I do understand that with the fabric, it's a different material, so I kind of was just like, I don't know anything about the doll making process. Perhaps this is much more expensive to have to do. And so for the ones that I really liked, I just sucked it up and bought them, or I waited for them to go on clearance. But I do think that when you compare this to the fact that you can get like an LOL OMG doll for $25, this feels a little bit expensive, right? And that was always the thing for me that stopped me from really getting into Nanana. I also know that for a long time in their run, they had terrible diversity. They really only started adding like deeper skin tones on their dolls towards the end, which is just never a good thing to be able to say. So as, you know, the brand went on, they did make the teens, like I mentioned. Not important. I just have to kind of mention that as an entry. And then as far as I knew, they kind of fizzled out. Like, they kind of just stopped making dolls until the Nanana minis came out. So I don't have any minis. We're just going to set my little helper down here. But I do have some photos that I'll be popping up on screen, so I'm just looking at them so I know what I'm talking about. But they came out with Nanana Surprise minis, which are even smaller than these. I mean, minis, that makes sense. I want to say they're like 4 inches, so they're quite small dolls. And the big difference is that these were plastic. So instead of the fabric dolls with fabric clothing, the doll body itself was made of plastic. And instead of having fabric clothing, it was like the kind of squishy plastic like you saw on old Polly Pocket fashion dolls or on like the LOL Tots, that sort of material. And so I guess that was like the revitalization of the brand, or at least, you know, their attempt at kind of evolving and becoming more relevant again within the doll market, which, you know, that's fine. Like, I'm not against None and a Surprise. I don't hate the brand. I think it was cool that they were trying to adapt. I didn't get any of the minis because I just didn't like them enough to want to buy them. But, you know, it was fine. And I kind of just was like, yeah, it's happening. I understand that it's there, but it's not super on my radar, right? Then we got the announcement for the dolls that I want to talk about today. And that is the None and a Surprise. I think they're called like Fuzzy Reveal. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to double check on the name. But it is like one of the latest releases from None and a. And I was intrigued because there's a lot of cats in this line. And y'all know how I feel about cats. So like I said, these are reveal dolls. So they have like the typical None and a caps, it looks like, with the hair underneath, but then they're coated in like a fuzzy layer of like animal print, and the whole point is that you peel it off and then you can give them their clothes. And I guess it's like kind of a reveal aspect. I don't know, more so it seems like it would honestly be really satisfying to like peel the stuff off, but it's not like the clothing is underneath the peeling, you know, like you still just have to put it on. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert because I haven't seen any reviews of these. I looked it up and I couldn't find any. Maybe that was just my fault. Maybe I missed something, or, you know, as of time of filming, maybe there just wasn't anything up yet. But, so yeah, I can't confirm 100% how the reveal works exactly or how the clothing is packaged, but I know for sure the clothing isn't on the dolls underneath the fuzzy reveal part. So, I don't know. That's off topic. Get focused. Okay, that's not the point. The point is there's some sort of reveal factor. And I believe these dolls are supposed to be as big as these, right? Like, they are a little bit bigger. They're not the None and a minis. They're not marketed that way, so I'm just assuming that it is, like, exactly the same scale as this. That's interesting, you know, and like I said, they have a lot of cats in this line. I had told myself I wasn't going to get any more None and a dolls. I only have, I think, 3 total right now. And honestly, that's enough for me. I got rid of a lot of them. I kind of wasn't feeling as warmly towards them. But whenever there's cats in a line, I get sucked in. So there's like a tabby cat, there's a tiger, there's a cheetah. The zebra also looks really adorable. So I was curious, okay? So I went to the Amazon listing for the one that stood out to me the most, which is like the purple tabby cat, because I just think she's cute, okay? I just like cats. And these are plastic dolls. And you can see from the images that they do have the same sort of articulation as these. The joints look exactly the same, it's just that they're plastic instead of fabric. The hair is, it seems, properly rooted on. So that's something that's cool and different than these dolls, is that it is properly rooted on. The fashion, again, is the like plasticky fashion. It's not fabric, it's just molded like soft squishy plastic that's been painted, which is fine. Like I could tell that from the stock photos, you know, I didn't feel deceived or anything like that. And I was still interested in her. I thought her fashions were cute. But then we got to the point that confused me, and this is literally the whole catalyst for me making this video, okay? Because she's $25 still. And I'm just so confused about None and a as a brand, okay? This is coming from just my opinion, just my place as a consumer. I could be way off base, and literally everyone in the comments could feel differently, and like, that's fine. Let me know how you guys are thinking about this. But I thought that the reason that these dolls didn't do well was because of the price. I didn't think it was because they were fabric. You know, like, I thought that other people had the same kind of reaction that I did, where, yeah, this is cute. It's cool that it's a fabric fashion doll, because that's not something that you can get from other brands that are like readily available on the market. It's different. It's interesting. The diversity, big issue. They were starting to fix that, like I said, towards the end. So to me, it was like, okay, the reason that these dolls don't do as well, or they seem to have kind of fizzled out and they needed to do kind of a soft rebrand here with the plastic dolls, is because of the price. And I thought the reason that they did the plastic dolls was because it was the fabric that was making them so expensive. Again, I don't know anything about the doll making process, but that was just like my logical deduction was like, okay, compared to other dolls on the market, the only thing that's really super different about these, aside from like aesthetics, is the fabric. And with the rebrand, they're going to plastic. So that's got to be where the cost is, right? And then also to lose the clothing. Like this is, you know, fabric clothing. Some of the dolls had layers to them or different pieces to them. And now on the new ones, on these reveal ones, the clothing is also plastic, which again, I'm fine with. I think that that's a very fun texture of plastic. I like to squish it. I shouldn't, but I like to chew on it. So, like, it's fine, right? I'm not upset about the rebrand, but I am confused because I don't understand why they're still $25. Okay, like, I get that they have the reveal thing, but it just doesn't quite line up to me, and I just don't understand what's happening. I am confused as to why Nanana doesn't seem to realize that that is the problem, presumably. Am I crazy? Is that not the problem? But, like, what else could be? You know, I don't see why getting rid of the fabric aspect, getting rid of the unique element, and getting rid of the fabric fashions would be what saves the brand. You know, to me, I thought for sure it had to be the price. So I thought for sure that these dolls were going to be cheaper because they're plastic with plastic clothing, and they're just not. And I don't understand. I feel like LOL is shooting themselves in the foot again because, yes, they look cool. I'm not going to buy this thing for $25. I was on board to get back into Nanana and potentially purchase this doll. And if I liked it, I might have bought even more, you know? But I'm not going to buy this doll with very limited articulation that is all plastic. I mean, I get that most dolls are all plastic, but it takes away the uniqueness factor, right? With all plastic clothing for $25, when I have just recently gotten LOL dolls for $25 that have layers and incredibly soft hair and insane amounts of detail. Like, what is going on? And also, LOL is owned by the same parent company as Nanana Surprise. They are both MGA brands. I'm just so confused. I know this doesn't matter. Like, this is what I mean by this is a very rambly, ranty video that literally no one asked for. Probably no one else cares about this at all, but I'm so confused about the marketing and the decisions with these Nanana Surprise dolls. Again, like, the rebrand, I'm totally open to it. I'm very happy to see that in the Fuzzy Surprise line, we have a doll that has a darker skin tone. So, like, hopefully, going forward with their plastic dolls, Nanana is going to be better about their diversity, but they're not going to be better about their price points, apparently. I would understand the price staying the same and still being $25 if we had more articulation because they're plastic, so presumably adding the articulation on there would then be easier, but we don't have that. Yeah, there's like the rooted hair, but rooted hair surely is not enough to make it cost that much because they've got to be saving so much money on not having to do sewn fashions, right? Again, this is speculation. I know literally nothing about like the industry of doll making. But surely this dress cost way more to make than an all-plastic piece, right? Surely. I don't know. I'm just really confused. That's the conclusion of the video, I guess, is I don't get it. I don't understand why, as a brand, Nanana would get rid of the thing that made them stand out the most, the fabric. Like, I get it's not for everybody, but it's at least different, you know? It fills a niche that I didn't even know needed to be filled, but it makes them stand out. So I don't get why they would get rid of that, get rid of like the fabric clothing, and add like a surprise element and keep it the same price. I'm very confused. Clearly, this whole video has just been a random rant of me being super confused. So sorry if this was a weird one. I don't know. I saw this and I was filled with so many emotions and I just had to talk about it. Like, I couldn't just sit by and be like, oh, that's weird, and scroll past because that's not who I am. I have to rant and rave and share my opinions because I always have so many of them. So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Like, am I the only one who thought that the price was the problem with the Nanana dolls? Am I the only one who's confused by the price staying the same? Was anybody else hopeful for the Nanana rebrand and got disappointed by this? Like, I genuinely was so ready to spend more money on these dolls again, even though I have just sold off some of my Na 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 dolls that I had before. I was ready to get reinvested in the brand until I saw that price tag. So is anybody else experiencing that? Also, I don't know, I saw that and I haven't seen anybody else talking about this, and I don't know if it's just because no one cares about Na 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 Surprise or if I'm the only one who thinks this is weird. So let me know. I would love to be reassured, but if you can't reassure me honestly, it's fine if you have to roast me also. I would just like to know what's going on, really. But yeah, that's the strange video for today. I hope you guys could at least get some amusement out of my ranting here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys!